Common Sense. I am by myself today. I kind of uh, forgot that the national championship game was tonight, and the guys all had plans for that. So I'm going to be quick. I'm going to be brief. It's not going to be a long recording, just maybe a few minutes. And we will be back next week with everyone so that we can all get in here and have a conversation. But I did want to jump on today. It's obviously a big day in America, period. Some would say it's a big day in MAGA world, but it's a big day, period, in the United States. Only twice in history in the United States has a president lost an election and then come back to be president again. Donald J. Trump, the 45th and 47th, and Grover Cleveland. And I can't remember when his was. I believe it was the 22nd and 25th, but I could be wrong. Somebody correct me if you see that. But I just wanted to jump on and say, guys, we're going to be doing this podcast once a week. Sometimes it'll be live, sometimes it'll be recorded. And I want everyone possible to get involved. There's a ton of podcasts out right now. And I just want to do one where my friends and people who I agree with and people who I disagree with can all come on and talk about their political views, social views, and no one's judging anyone. Everyone's having a conversation. That's why it's called Common Sense. I don't mean that it's a common sense idea. We come in sense. So when we come here, we come to each other and we're sensible about our opinions. Yeah, we are sponsored by Jeep. Nah, I'm just kidding. I ain't cut my hair. You see, I still got the facial hair over here, so I ain't had no haircut, so I had to throw the Jeep on. But next time, I'll be groomed and ready to go. But this work schedule has been brutal. But anyway, big inauguration today. I've been looking at some of the comments and some of the things that's been going on, and like I said, I'm not going to dive into them tonight. We'll say that for when all the panels here, when all the guys are here, so that we can really have a conversation and have some contrast of views. I know some people probably see me on Facebook and aren't quite sure what side to say that I'm on. But the truth is, I'm not on any side. I just agree with what's true, and I value what's good, and I devalue when someone's doing bad. And I'm always gonna say it out loud. So if Trump does something that I have always agreed with, then I am gonna say, good job, Mr. President. And if Joe Biden does something that I have never agreed with, I'm gonna say, terrible job, Joe Biden. I can say that I am encouraged a bit by some things that I have seen of late. And it's not because of who Donald Trump is. I think it's more about who his supporters are. Because in the first administration, I felt that his supporters were a little bit different than who they are now. Now, I'm not saying those supporters are gone. Those supporters are still there as well. But there's a new crowd of supporters that are with him now that have a different ideology, that have a anti-war ideology, which I think is huge, which is great for America. No one should be pro-war. I mean, pro-defense is one thing, but pro-war is something totally different. So I think that is a good thing. I also believe that there are a lot of people in this America First movement that aren't complete, isolationists, that just want America to put themselves first. And I can agree to that. What I can't agree with, though, is any of I hate using the word racism because it's just so used now, even when there is no evidence of racism. But what I won't ever stand for, what I won't ever be okay with is what do you call it? Let's see, how could you put it without using racism? things being put in the atmosphere that make anyone feel less than, you know? And let's not go straight to immigration and say that, we want to let everybody in and all this stuff too. I believe in legal immigration. I believe that some people come here because they are running from crimes and gangs and things in their own country, but people need to have a path to citizenship. But at the same time, see, we get in trouble when we go so far to one side and go so far to the other side. We can't be so naive as to believe that when someone does something illegal, like the guy who was riding around in California with the flamethrower, lighting up Christmas trees or whatever he was lighting up, not Christmas trees, I'm sorry, lighting up trash and stuff like that. This guy had 4 convictions in the state of California, and because of the sanctuary laws there, he was still here doing things. And I don't know that if he started the whole wildfires, I don't know if that's the case. But the guy was obviously crazy. He was running around doing these things. And if the sanctuary laws mean you can't communicate with the national government when someone's committing a crime who's already here illegally, then I think that common sense says that person may need to go back where they came from, because they didn't come here to be safe. They came here to make other people unsafe. So that's just one part. There's a few little things I want to touch on, and then I'm going to sign off tonight and go hang out with my beautiful fiance. But on this show, I just want people at some point, once we grow, obviously we're small, there may not be a soul watching tonight, that's okay. But once we get a little bit going, I want to have people chime in and have conversation with us, and not just type in the text, but let me send you a link so you can pop on and see how you express, you can express how you feel. Because I have tons of people on the right and left. I have people on the far left, I have people on the far right that I love, that are my friends, that I consider people that I would do just about anything for. So anything I say is never meant to offend anyone. It is my opinion. And the thing about it, my opinion evolves when I learn things. Had a brief conversation, not a conversation, but messages earlier this week where I spoke about Benjamin Netanyahu and my personal feelings on who he is as a person. And I had some great feedback from people who had real life experiences in Israel. And they touched on things that I didn't know. Does it completely change my opinion of Benjamin Netanyahu? No. But even after having those conversations and then seeing evidence once the hostages were released of how many Hamas fighters are still there, and some would say those Hamas fighters have grown over this time because of the indiscriminate bombing that's going on in Gaza and the occupation of the West Bank. But even that being said, some of the stuff I listen to, and that's what we all get locked into our own echo chambers. And some of the stuff that I listened to led me to believe that Hamas had been completely destroyed and that there were barely any fighters there left. And if you see the picture of the hostage release, you'll know that Hamas is still pretty strong over there. So maybe Israel has a reason to continue fighting. That part, that's what, to me, podcasting and having conversations with people is about, is growth on all sides. Because believe me, I don't know everything, and honestly, I know a tenth of what I need to know, what I want to learn. And I'm hoping you guys can educate me on some things, and that I can educate you on some things, and that we can all come to some kind of consensus about different things. I throw little things out here and I keep moving. Like, for instance, we were at work talking about abortion, and, some of us are pro-choice, some of us are pro-life, and for different reasons, we're that way. Obviously, I don't know about obviously, but most people know that I am a Christian. And my pro-choice stance doesn't mean, in my opinion, doesn't take away from my Christianity. Do I believe in abortions in the third, after 28 weeks, or after viability, in my opinion, and I believe that's around 20 weeks. No, I don't believe that's a great thing to do. I do think there are instances where a female has to make her choices, and I don't think the me or the government have the right to dictate those choices. But I think there's common sense ground. Yes, obviously, no one should be in favor of a late birth of what is it? Late term abortion. I don't think anyone should be in favor. And I don't know anybody that is. If they are, then you're just way out there. But those are the kind of things that I just want to be able to have conversations on here. And I also want to get lighthearted sometimes. I mean, we got to talk about other things. We got to talk about if Diddy gonna ever get home. I don't think Buddy gonna ever come home. I don't think maybe he should come home. But then you got people who say there's deeper things to that we don't understand. There's political things to that. There's people that he know who have done things that, we still don't know what was in the Epstein logs, and now we're waiting on what's in the Diddy logs. These are all things that we can talk about on this podcast, and we all come in common sense and have a honest conversation about things, and just see, because what you see on TV a lot of time are pundits and people who are paid to have conversations, and even our political process. If you don't know, I mean, most of the people in the political realm aren't out there doing things for themselves. I mean, there are some on both sides who are different. But if you ever read a book called, if you ever read a book called, excuse me, The Wolves of K Street, you'll find out who's really in charge of the government. And a lot of people who love Donald Trump believe that he's not influenced by those things. And I would beg to differ when I look at his cabinet. There's not a common man in his cabinet. And sometimes it behooves me how our society has decided that billionaires, I mean billion with a big B billionaires, are the ones who have our back, are the ones who know what's right for the little people, are the ones who we will put our trust in to take care of the little people. And maybe you have a legitimate reason for that. Maybe you believe somebody who could build that kind of enormous wealth, and the kind of person who can save and keep things together and do the right thing to become successful should be able to make America successful, and by product of that, make you successful as well. But part of me, and I hate when I say but, I'm gonna try my best to say and, because saying but is just, it's saying I'm contradicting that, and that's not what I'm doing. I'm adding to something. So saying that, given that, and you have to think about, is that person making policy or making decisions to help you or to help him and the people that he's around or she's around or they're around? I don't want to get into pronouns or anything like that, but you know what I mean. So next week, next Monday, hopefully all my guys are free and we can all get together on here, guys, girls. I have friends. I'm gonna call out some names. I want Brandy, I'm talking to you. I want you on here at some point. My buddy John Theodore, I know we be going back and forth. I want you on here at some point. Let me think. I should have probably started calling names. Of course, David Carlisle, he's always on here with me. My buddy Daniel, he is out doing his big thing right now, man, with the Wheezy tour, man. That is absolutely dope, bro. Congratulations on that tour. I know you're doing big things coming in the future for you, for sure. My buddy Patrick, who is probably most hilarious. Patrick Hunt, if you don't catch him on Facebook, man, dude's page is absolutely hilarious. He's just a regular dude, but he be putting up the stuff. There's a lot more people. My buddy Gary Scott, man, he is out on a cruise right now. I think he's on a cruise. I couldn't tell. He sent me a picture. I was trying to get him on tonight, and he was out. He was in the water in an infinity pool somewhere, just doing his thing. So it's dope to see him out there doing his thing. I'm trying to think of who else. There's a lot of people, man, that I talk to and that really have some valid points. Some people who I don't know as well to go ahead and say their names out there. But if you have contributed to any of the conversations that I have on the book with political conversations or social conversations, please feel free to tap in. Send me a message, a DM or something, and on the next episode, I will pop you in so you can get your point across. Especially those of you who understand the Israel and the Gaza situation a lot better than I do. If there's anyone out there who understand the Russia and the Ukraine situation better than I do, please, please, please tap in. I'd love to have you guys on. And I'm willing to talk about anything, bro. I am willing to have a conversation with anyone at any time about anything. I don't do a ton of not a ton of it. I do my best not to say cuss words anyway. I'm just trying to be a better person and have a better vocabulary. So if you can come on and keep the cussing to a minimum, that's great. Do your best to just come with some respect and have a conversation with us. Trying to think of anything else that I want to put out there today before I go in here and watch a TV show with my girl. Oh, the signing today, bro. That's the most executive orders I've seen somebody sign in one day. And I was at work all day, so I didn't get a chance to really go over everything that he did, but I'm off on Tuesday. So tomorrow I will get a real good opportunity to listen to some of the things that were said during the inauguration. And I know some people, my buddy sent me something with Elon doing a hand gesture that's got a lot of people upset, and I wonder exactly what he meant. You never know with Elon, bro, because even the group that he's backing over in Germany right now is a little strange group. You guys should look into that. They're a pretty strange group. But when you're a 400 billionaire, you're going to be a little different, a little eccentric, quite different than most people. But I saw that. I saw some other things that caught my eye, but I haven't been able to actually research or look into what was going on there. So I don't want to speak on it. That's one thing I don't like. And I've done it before. I posted stuff on Facebook, and then an hour and a half later, somebody tell me, listen, bro, that's not real. And guess what? I'll pull it down. Or I won't even just pull it down. I'll make another statement and say, bro, I was an idiot. Last thing I said made no sense. So no ego here. It is just pure conversation, understanding, learning, coming together in common sense. There are hundreds of millions of us in the United States, and we should be more powerful than the corporations, and our voices should be more powerful than the money interest. And that's something I think we could all agree on. I don't think anyone will save multi-billionaires whose money is running the thing, but I don't think any one of us, regular middle class, upper middle class, lower middle class, or people who are living check to check, I don't think any of us would say we want the corporations to run America and leave us in whatever position that we're in. So let's try our best, guys, over these next 4 years to get together. Let's try our best to be fair in our assessments. Even if you are a never Trumper, if you do something that you agree with, it's okay to agree with it. And those of you who are MAGA to the core, if he does something that you don't agree with, it's okay to disagree with it. One thing I can say, which is a positive thing about Donald J. Trump that I really truly believe, I think he cares about what his base thinks of him. If enough of his base stands up and says, no wars, enough of his base stands up and says, you're a billionaire. We understand that we brought you in because we thought you couldn't be influenced by these corporate entities. I think he'll listen. From what I've heard, he wants to be placed on the Mount Rushmore of presidents. And believe it or not, some of the things that believe it or not, coming from me, some of the things that he said on the campaign trail, if he's able to actually do those things, he could be a pretty amazing president. I will say that one thing, he has the TV thing down. He knows how to endear himself to America. The whole TikTok thing was amazing, bro. I mean, complete theatrics. And I understand. I mean, I hope everyone understands that the bill to ban TikTok was introduced by a Republican and signed on by every Republican. Most of the Democrats completely bipartisan agreement to get rid of TikTok. So it wasn't a Joe Biden wants to get rid of TikTok. Donald Trump wants to save it. If you look at statements from years ago, he wanted to get rid of it too. But like I said, the man is very cognizant of what is going on. He's very fluid, which is what we missed in Joe Biden. He wasn't fluid in anything. He is still stuck on. I'm not sure what he's stuck on. I mean, he still believes he could have won that race, and there's not a chance, not a snowball's chance that the man could have won the race. But Donald Trump understands. It's like when we used to say, but in the streets, we used to say, "I keep my ear to the streets, so I know what's going on." That's Donald Trump. He keep his ear to the streets, and he understands. He understands TikTok is huge. I mean, you got to be an idiot not to. 177 million people, 170 million people are on it, and to take that away, you want to be the guy that brought it back. So a lot of theatrics there. There was no reason to shut down Sunday. No one was going to enforce it. But when you understand television and you understand the power of presentation like this man does, you can do amazing things. And, you know, I'm an old man. I grew up in the 80s and 90s, and I remember Donald Trump, the showman. And he's always been that. And what he has been able to do to become president twice had a lot to do with show. But now it's time to see what he's going to show America. Will he be divisive? And some of you may not believe he was divisive. I listened to one of my very good friends, very, very good friends. I love your food. I'm not going to say your name here on Facebook. I love your food. But I listened to one of my good friends today say that she thought that Obama was pretty divisive. And we never did come to a conclusion as to why, but I listened to what she said. And of course, I don't agree that he was divisive. So you got to know that through different lenses, people see different things. They say beauty is in the eye of the beholder. Well, ugly is in the eye of the beholder as well. So I may see these things that Trump does as divisive and you may not. But what I am saying right now is that I hope he decides to be a uniter, if it's possible, to be a uniter and bring people in. And I hope people on both sides are willing to listen to each other and understand that the United States is big, it's huge, and there's an opportunity for it to be what we always wanted it to be, what on this day Martin Luther King wanted it to be. It's kind of crazy that the inauguration's on Martin Luther King's birthday, and I don't on Martin Luther King Day. Excuse me, I didn't say his birthday. Martin Luther King Day. I don't know if his birthday or not. That's how. Like I told you, I don't know everything. I know a little bit of something. I am a jack of all trades and an ace of none. But on Martin Luther King Day, they had the inauguration. I don't know if that's every 4 years and it all falls on this day. I don't know if it's a date or a day because you get those things confused like Easter. But it's kind of ironic that this day falls on Martin Luther King Day. And I think that he would say something similar, is that can we all just get together and be united? He had a dream, and in my eyes, a lot of that dream has been fulfilled, but there's still a ways to go. Still a ways to go. I don't think I'll ever be a guy that says there's no racism in the world and there's no bigotry in the world, unless, you know, we made it to heaven where there'll be none of that. You know what I mean? There'll be none of that. That would be the utopia that we all want. But what we can do while we're here on earth is love each other, which is the biggest commandment. Love each other, treat people with kindness, and treat people the way you want to be treated. To me, that's just common sense. I hope you guys have a great night. Whoever you're going for in this national championship game, to my people up north who are rocking with the Notre Dame, and my people up north who are rocking with Ohio State, I hope you guys have a great game tonight. And if I had to pick, I'd probably say Ohio State gonna take it. I'm sorry, Josh Tinsley. I know you rocking with Notre Dame, but I just don't see it. Ohio State got too much for them. Y'all have a blessed night. Please join us next Monday. I hope I get some DMs from some of my friends and some of the people who are willing to join, because what makes a podcast better is the people that join in and have conversations. I'm just one person with a Jeep hat on and no haircut and a scraggly beard right now. But if I get everybody else jumping in on here and having conversations, we can build something. And it will be on YouTube next week, I promise you. I keep on messing that up because I don't understand what I'm doing. If it wasn't for my fiance, I wouldn't have had no thumbnail today, but she was able to help me create that. So shout out to the most beautiful woman in my life. Shout out to her. But next week, guys, I'll send out another thumbnail just saying when we're going to do it, because we're still tweaking that. Because it's kind of hard, because when I do it on Monday, that means my haircut ain't going to be right, because I can't get a haircut to Tuesday. So I wrap all the way back around to Monday and I look like a woolly booger. And that's the last thing I want to be popping off on here looking like a woolly booger. So next Monday, guys, or next Tuesday, I'll figure that out. I'll put out a thumbnail. We'll all get together. We'll talk about Trump. We'll talk about Biden getting up out of there. We'll talk about whatever you guys want to talk about. Hope y'all have a blessed night. Common sense.